So this video is about how to read a graph. So when you are looking at a graph, things that you need to make sure that you know how to point out are some things we call your vertex. Your vertex is either going to be your maximum or it's going to be your minimum of the parabola. In this case, because my parabola is opening down, my vertex would be a maximum. We make sure that when we describe that vertex, we use our xy coordinates. And in this case, my x coordinate of the vertex is -1. Your y coordinate of the vertex would be 8. So this would be a maximum vertex at -1, 8. Another point that we really want you to pay attention to when you're looking at a graph is what we call the y-intercept. Your y-intercept is the place where your graph crosses the y-axis. We've talked about this. You know, at every single y-intercept, your x value is 0. And then we look at the graph and we see what your y value is to that specific location. Couple other points that are really important to talk about. We look at the places where your graph crosses the x-axis. We call those your x-intercepts. We know at both of those locations, your y value is equal to 0 because it is on the x-axis. So therefore, we need to just pay attention to what your x value is on the axis at each of those. And in this case, my x-intercepts are -3, 0, and 1, 0. These intercepts are very important as sometimes we want to write our equation in vertex form, or sometimes we want to write our equation in intercept form. Looking at the x-intercepts that we had, -3, 0, and 1, 0, remember some other names that we call those intercepts are zeros, roots, or solutions. If we had you write an equation of a graph, which will be a video in the future, remember one thing that's really helpful to have are your intercepts. So we would start out with our x minus our first intercept, and we would then have x minus our second intercept, which is -3. And we can see that that double negative is actually going to turn that second factor into a plus. This would be the equation of that parabola on the previous page in intercept form. If I wanted you to turn this into what we would call standard form, you would need to do your Punnett square or your distributing to end up with an equation. We multiply, we multiply, we multiply, multiply, we combine like terms, and you would get the equation x squared plus 2x minus 3. So those intercepts are very, very helpful for us.